Hi YouTube family, hope all is well with you and yours. It's Mish and Mark channel, and Mark is not here. I'm just heading out, leaving work right now. And the reason I'm leaving work is because I have to get my dad to the doctor. So in other videos you probably see my dad working out. He's 80 years old, almost 80. He's gonna be 80 in June, and he is as fit as a fiddle, but he had some issues, so he's gonna go to the doctor. So anyway, I just wanted to welcome you to Travelers Thursdays. Okay, so that's what we call it. So it's Travelers Thursdays. But on a sad note, this morning on my way to work, I had no idea that the area that I saw blocked off, which was the ramp from the 401, which is a highway, entering Keel Street, going towards the area where I was about to go to work, there was a fatal accident. I had no idea. And it really dampened my day because I felt like a pit in my stomach and you know, like a very sad feeling in my heart when I found out that the person who was crossing the street, apparently it was a male, was crossing the street. He got hit by a vehicle and he was rushed to the hospital, where he's pronounced dead shortly after. I think maybe within 2 hours or so. And guys, that was always one of my you know, most feared thing, is to hit somebody. The reason why I felt such pain in my stomach and my heart is because I always thought about, you know, being in that situation and having to live with that. I would not trade places with that guy for a million years, because whoever it was driving, I'm saying guy because I'm just assuming, they didn't say who the driver was. They didn't say whether, you know, what the charges were, but they just said that the person was on the scene when it happened. And when I looked at the photo, which you'll see in my feed, you'll see the way in which they presented the whole thing. You see a bag on the street and some other stuff underneath the car. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure what that represents, but it just made me feel so bad. And death, you know, is not an easy thing when you think about it. And like I said, this was not my original topic that I was going to be talking about, but as it is Travelers Thursday, it's a form of traveling. You know, you're getting up in the morning, you're getting, you know, to your place of, whether you're going to work, whether you're going to an appointment, whatever you're going to do. And unfortunately in Canada at this time, in the morning at 7 or so, it's still dark. It's not that light outside, and given that it's winter, it tends to be even more darker, because what happened is the sun doesn't come out as bright, as fast, or as early when it's an overcasted day. So it was really overcast this morning, and even when I was driving, I noticed that there was no sun until maybe closer to 8 o'clock. So I can imagine whoever was driving at that time would not have seen the person, because they were obstructed by the time, you know, the time of day, and you know, the way in which it's dark. And another thing, guys, I just want you to be aware of, if you're gonna if you're going to be walking on the road, and especially if there's no sun, make sure you're wearing light colors, because dark colors are not visible and people are not able to see you when you are walking. And sometimes people don't look when they're walking too. They just walk and then they just end up, you know, going out into the car. I've heard that happened many times, and unfortunately, you know, the person who is driving gets charged for that, and really it's not entirely their fault. However, you're supposed to be keeping your eyes all over the place when you're driving, for sure. But at the end of the day, it's really, as a pedestrian, you have to be careful. You have to be careful, pay attention, not be, putting on any devices in your ears and stuff and not hearing. Like, even if a vehicle is honking or a vehicle is coming, you can't hear it. And different things like that happening, where people just walk out in the street, especially in Brampton. That's where it gets really bad. But unfortunately, on my way to work this morning, I was able to witness that. I didn't get to see the accident, but I saw that the road was blocked, and I was surprised. And it was one of my colleagues at work, when I was explaining to him that the street was blocked, he says, oh, there was an accident. And then when I checked it out, it was a fatal accident. So I wasn't prepared for that. And it's unfortunate that, those persons who, were there this morning, like, probably had to witness that on the street. And even his family, trying to figure out what happened, maybe that's, I don't know. It's there's so many things flooding in my mind. Think about it, you probably left the morning thinking that you're going to see your family in the evening, only to find out your family is dead. This is why it's so important to do the best you can, because you don't know when you leave your house what you're going to see, what you're going to experience. You don't know. And for that person who has died, that's it. It's final for the family members. And as I said, I don't want to be that person who hit that person and killed them. It's devastating. It's one thing to die, but you're not gonna feel any more pain, because whatever pain he was feeling, the person who died, he is no longer in pain. But think about the person who is left behind with that pain, that sense of, I don't know, this despondency of knowing that you hit somebody and you kill them. You have to live with that for the rest of your life. And I don't know how that feels, and I wouldn't want to know how that feels, because just me thinking about it, it gives me a pit in my stomach. And I don't know about you. How do you feel? How would you feel if it was you? You can comment in the chat. It is very, very hard to even digest, knowing that the families, they won't see their loved ones again. So I just wanted to share that today. And yeah, it's really hard. And right now I'm driving on the 401. I'm heading home. My dad is waiting for me, and my mom, I'm gonna have to take care of her until my dad gets back from the doctor. So she should have had her lunch already, but now she's probably just relaxing. And one of the things my dad said yesterday was that he noticed some positive changes in my mom, because she's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's for about 8 years now, and he noticed that she's been responding positively. And we don't know what that means, because that could mean anything. And sometimes when people are ill, it's like a roller coaster kind of journey. Sometimes they are up, sometimes they're down. And talking about traveling, sometimes sickness is like a traveling experience, because you're going up and down, and you're watching your loved ones go up and then they go down. And that has happened to my mom too. Sometimes she went up, and then another time she went down. And many times we thought that she was gonna pass away, and somehow she never did. And I remember one time I said to my mom, you're not eating, you need to eat, you're losing a lot of weight, and if you ever see how you look. I don't know if she's understanding what I was saying to her, but she bounced back. And shortly after that, she started to eat again, to the point where she started to put on so much weight. And it was very hard to move her around, because you have to move her to the left or the right to make sure that, especially if you're giving her like a bed bath or changing her diapers and stuff like that, it gets really, really difficult when she puts on weight. And eating and not moving, it's definitely overwhelming sometimes when you think about it, because you're eating and you're not moving, which means you're not burning off the calories. So what's gonna happen? You're gonna put on weight, right? So that's kind of what's been happening. And unfortunately, I have to watch my mom in that condition. But at the end of the day, it taught me a lot. And one of the things I'm trying to do in terms of me as I travel through life is to make the best of every day. Don't ever put off what I can do today tomorrow, because I never know when or if I'm ever going to get an opportunity to do that again. And I don't want to have regrets. I don't want to say, oh, I wish I did this or I wish I did that. I don't want to do that. And I don't know about you, but I mean, a lot of people say, oh my gosh, how many things you're doing. I'm like, well, I have the energy, I have the time, and even if I don't have the time, I make the time. I could be wasting time just watching TV or watching movies or whatever, but that doesn't really give me any great satisfaction. For me, I like being busy, I like being productive, and I always tell my kids, be productive. So in terms of Travelers Thursdays, I just wanted to share this journey with everyone. And like I said, this morning was another eye-opener for me. And next week Thursday, I will share what we were going to be talking about for Travelers Thursday. But today, it's on a somber note. It's really overwhelming knowing that, you could just wake up in the morning and you don't see your loved one the next hour or so, or they just pass within hours after leaving the house. So that's it for today, guys, and I hope this somber story doesn't make you feel down, but in a positive note, you can say, well, you know what, kiss your loved ones before you leave. Make the best of every moment that you have, because you never know when you're gonna not have that moment. When you're leaving out, wear lighter clothing. Make sure that people can see you. And drivers, be careful of people when you're driving out there in the morning, especially in Canada or wherever it is that you are. If it's dark outside, make sure that you can see the people who are crossing the street. Don't just drive. Even this morning for me, when I was exiting my main street and I was making a right turn, the person who was in front of me took forever to make that right turn, and I was wondering, why is that person taking so long? I don't know if the person was distracted or on the phone or what, because I was thinking there were so many opportunities for the person to really make that turn, and they didn't even do anything. And I'm like, what's taking you so long? I had a feeling of, for a moment there, I wanted to go around, but I know that would have been illegal. But I was just so anxious because I wanted to get out of the area, because the longer you take to get out of the area, it's like 1 second can cause you to be 2 minutes later than the time that you really want to get to where you're going. So I really wanted to get out of the street near to where I live, and it took a long time. And even when I thought he had like 3 chances and he lost all 3 to move, but eventually he did. And later on when I went up the street, I had to take a look to see who it was, because I'm thinking, who is driving this vehicle? It was a VW, and it was a fancy vehicle, and I'm thinking, I don't want to get caught hitting that vehicle, so I made sure I stayed my distance, and I drove as how I know I need to drive to make sure that I'm safe and he was safe. And when I went up and I saw who it was, I'm like, okay. And he was looking at me and I was looking at him, and then I just kept going. Especially when we went on the highway, I just kept going, and I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to be safe. And I had no idea that later on I would have found out that, on another note, maybe they were in a hurry to go where they're going to, and they didn't see the pedestrian, and then they killed. So, I feel like, sometimes you get some lessons in life, and that was my lesson for today, knowing that as you travel on the road, make sure that you are safe and you keep others safe. Don't be hasty, as how we tend to be sometimes, to get where we're going fast, because sometimes we're getting nowhere fast. So, I feel like this is what we need to be cognizant of. So that's it for today, guys, and I hope, like I said, this has helped someone, and I hope you understand what it means to really pay attention on the road and to keep yourself safe and others safe as well. And on that note, I'm going to sign off, and I hope you continue to subscribe, like, share our video. Thank you so much for being supportive. We appreciate you so much, and we love that the fact that you're staying with us, and we try to give, you know, add videos that, like, say the shorts and stuff, they are pertaining to the theme for the day. So if you notice that when we add a video, a long video or a short video are always a part of the theme. So again, just so you guys are not mistaken as to what we're doing, on Sundays it's soft Sundays, whatever is trending. On Mondays is motivational Mondays. Tuesdays is trucking Tuesdays. Wednesdays wellness Wednesdays. Thursdays is travelers Thursdays. Friday is foodie or fun Fridays. Saturday is relationship, or it's called Saintly Day, but it's I couldn't find anything else and we couldn't brainstorm anything else. We might change it in the future, but right now we call it Saintly Saturdays, and it's based on relationships of all kinds, so that's why we use that title. Okay, so we are really appreciative of you signing on, listening to us, and I hope we are helping you. As we say, let's keep it real. Ciao, bye.